What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to Dr. Prepper. Just enjoy the items on the table here. Today we have a discussion, a topic that I kind of wanted to cover, something I've been really thinking about. I know some people can't stand my hand moving, and then other people hate it when there's nothing going on. So I'm going to kind of just bring my hand back and forth every once in a while. No, I'm just kidding. But the topic is, does preparedness even matter? Does getting prepared even matter? Whether you are a normal, average person who's never really even thought about it a day in their life, up into the person who is extremely well rounded, does it even matter? And I have to say that it does. Depending on your circumstance, I think it is extremely important to be prepared. Now, do you have to take it to the extent of some people? Probably not a bad idea, but no, I would say no, you don't have to take it to certain extents. And if you're very smart with your purchases, you could make out very well getting things that you really need that would be useful in a multitude of situations. It's like I always say, when you get into the preparedness world, when you buy a flashlight or a knife or a lighter, a lot of the items that you buy for preparedness can double, triple, or even more be used in a variety of different scenarios. Some items can be used as an everyday item, like a flashlight, a knife, a lighter. Some items are great for camping, hiking, just being in the outdoors, putting in your vehicle. I mean, there are all kinds of activities and scenarios where you can cross-reference the item that you're buying. And, if you're buying it for the intention of being prepared, you're on your journey, you're getting and acquiring items to aid in that. Those items can also be used in a variety of other tasks. Something as simple as battery banks. Those are everyday items that are incredibly useful in a lot of different situations when and if you have no access to power, whether you're out of the house in a vehicle or the power in your house goes out. Being able to maintain certain items for a certain amount of time, whether it's your phone, a flashlight, a lantern, whatever it might be, that little bit of extra duration that you can get out of your items is just incredibly valuable. I would have to say there's very few items that you could buy for the preparedness journey, right? That's what I refer to it as often, as your preparedness journey. Everybody is, somewhere on that line who is watching this at least. And I would encourage people who are not doing some sort of preparedness or some sort of prepping to start to dabble in it. Because, if you live by yourself and the only thing you are responsible for is your goldfish, I could understand maybe. I mean, I can't understand that, but I can get the idea that you don't have a motivation, you don't have children to protect, a significant other to protect, family to protect, whatever it might be. I could see someone being a little lackluster when it comes to being in that situation. But for the majority of people, the people who are maybe in a relationship, or they're in a relationship and they have kids, or maybe they are single and they have young kids or kids. Being prepared is anything from having extra wipes in the closet all the way to having 3 months of food stored up, water filtration, and the list is endless. But things that are taking care of your everyday needs is the things that, it's a good idea to focus on early on, stocking up on certain supplies, toilet paper, shampoo, body wash, deodorants, and the things that aren't so flashy and fun. It's a great idea to stock up on them when you can. Prices rise, things go out of stock, and sometimes can be hard to get, especially in the world we live in today. So, having supplies stocked up is just smart. You're not an insane prepper if you stock supplies that you use. And the same can be said about food and water and drink mixes and that whole gambit of stuff. Just being prepared is just being smart, in my opinion. Now, I'm not calling someone stupid who hasn't yet kind of found their way, so to speak. I think a responsible adult should at least in some way be getting prepared. And you don't have to, they have TV shows about the extreme preppers and so on, and they have a specific scenario in mind that is definitely going to happen. It's going to be a nuclear explosion, or it's going to be a comet hitting the Earth, or whatever it is. A lot of people kind of just prepare for a generalized list of different things to happen. Some people have one focus and that they prepare for. I think that's a mistake. Now, even if you have just one sole focus, you're going to be covering quite a bit of bases. But for instance, if you're someone who thinks we're going to get invaded and that is the only thing that's going to happen to you that is a bad situation, and all you have is guns and ammo, you're taken care of in the security and self-protection aspect and that side of things, but you don't have no food, you don't have no water, you have no supplies, you're in trouble. So dedicating your thoughts and energy into just one bad thing happening, I think, is the wrong mindset. I think getting certain items, after you have your everyday bases covered when it comes to supplies and food and water, you can start covering a vast majority of the different topics within preparedness and cover a lot of bases with one particular item. You don't have to go insane, buying 6, 7, 8 of, one item. Now, is it a good idea to have, a couple flashlights, a couple lighters, a couple knives? Of course, it's a good idea, but don't think right away you need 8 flashlights, 10 knives, and 50 lighters or something. Just go out and get one, and one. And then as you start rounding your stuff off, you get doubles of those items. 2 is 1, 1 is none. And even more is even better. It's just in case that primary one breaks or goes down or whatever it is. You have something to back that up. And in my opinion, I like having something to back that up if I can afford it or get it or whatever it is. Now, it'd be nice to have a backup generator, right? But that's a huge expense, and to have one that you buy just to, sit to the side, that might not be possible. But when it comes down to a flashlight or a knife or something, those are items that can be fairly easily accessible, and they're not very expensive, depending on what you get. But to answer the main question of, is it worth getting prepared? And I think I think there's people that ask that question, and I think there's people who look down on people who are getting prepared and starting to do some of the things in that direction. I would say to the people who are very early on, don't let anyone dissuade you from doing what you're doing. I remember people used to laugh a couple years, and I'm sure there's older guys than me who have experienced it more times and for far longer. But even a couple years back, I had people kind of chuckling at me for having my ideas and my goals and that sort of thing. And it can be kind of, a punch in the chest, so to speak, where you think you're doing the right thing, and then you have people kind of, telling you that it's not, or that's not going to happen, or whatever. But, a couple years back, most people weren't laughing anymore at the people who had been getting ready, right? That kind of started to subside. Now, there are the people out there who just no matter what you say, what you do, you're not going to change their mind, right? And that's okay. They can live their life, if they break down, they have, in the middle of the night and they have no flashlights, they got no way to stay warm, they don't have an extra battery to charge their phone, that's on them. And those are the people who find themselves in a bad situation and they either get hurt very badly or they die. And is that an everyday occurrence? I think there's people out there every day who find themselves in a very bad situation. If you don't, just consider yourself lucky. And all them situations are definitely going to be different for everyone. It could be, a situation where it only happens to you, or it happens to your block or your town. Could be your city, your state. Just everybody's going to be different in what their situation is and how it affects them. But the idea is that whatever can happen to you will happen to you. It's possible. And the more things that you can be ready for, in a sense, the better off you're going to be. So, just like with me, do I have every single thing I could ever need? And, am I completely taken care of when it comes to food and water and all that stuff? No, I would like to have a lot more. But, I'm in a lot better shape than I would say most people. But that doesn't mean I'm done or that I'm ready for everything. Once you get so far, you continue to keep rounding off, what you're doing, adding to this, shaping that, working on your craft, working on figuring out how to use that ferro rod or get really good with batoning or whatever it might be. There's always things to work on. There's always things to add. There's always things to learn. So don't ever let anyone dissuade you from doing what you think is right. And for the people who haven't quite stepped up to that line or crossed over that line and took the first steps into, basically it's the thought process. That's kind of the first thing that comes along is maybe I should start stocking some food up, stocking some supplies up. With what's going on in the world today, it's not a bad idea, right? That's exactly right. So, and that's where, that's a good starting place. And if you're trying to get someone into it, a lot of people have hobbies and things they really like. If it's someone who likes camping, which if they like camping, they're probably going to be somewhat into preparedness. But say they're not. You can hone in on that side of things with camping and start getting various things that would help you in your preparedness journey that also this is going back to what we talked about a little bit ago, that also can double as camping items that you could use on camping. A couple examples would be a power station. Something that you can charge your laptop up with, your phones, maybe a couple of the little batteries. A power station is going to be quite a bit bigger than, one of these regular 5,000 milliamp hour batteries here. Things like that. Having a couple lanterns, right? Having a couple batteryized lanterns, rechargeables. Not only are they great if the power goes out and so on, but these would be awesome for taking walks at night, going camping, going hiking, that sort of thing. So if someone's into a certain thing, you can kind of hone in on that to get them and bring them into the preparedness side of things. And if they don't really have any hobbies on really anything you could kind of bite into, then everyone needs food, everyone needs water and supplies. Those are great items to kind of bring people in, get them thinking, I need some food and water stored up a little bit extra. And then, well, maybe it's not a bad idea if I have some protection in a rifle or a pistol or a shotgun or something like that. It might not be a bad idea to have a decent sized fixed blade, a folding knife. Oh, maybe it's not a bad idea if I have a handheld lighting device, a flashlight. Things like that. You can kind of chip away and work at those kinds of things and bring people in. It's worked a lot. I've heard stories, I've seen things. I've been around people who kind of start with the food and water, and then they really start kind of taking off from there. But the answer is yes, preparedness is worth it, especially if you are responsible. If you're a man, even a woman or a woman, and you are responsible for other lives, you must be getting prepared. I think it's imperative. You do not want to have to rely on another man or another woman to take care of you in a bad situation, because you might not get that help. And if you do, you're definitely going to be left feeling less than, because you should have been getting ready for certain events to happen. So, I would rather not need any of the shit that I get. I'd rather not need it, but I'd rather have it too. It goes back to I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That is a great motto to kind of live by. Now, you don't want to go crazy with that motto, but it definitely hits a few nails on the head for sure. My generator, for instance, I hope I never need to use it. But if I do, if I do need it, I have the son of a bitch, Same with like self-protection. I have a rifle, and I hope to God I never need it for anything more than target practice or hunting or whatever. But if I need it for more than that, I have it. So that is a great way to think. It's just the same thing with food, stocking up on food. You hope you never have to really dig into your stash because there's nothing left at the store. If nothing happens, you just have extra food that you can continue cycling along. And, it's not a big deal if you have extras. So it goes back to thought process, in my opinion, being strong mentally and doing the right things for yourself and your family. I think getting prepared in a generalized idea is one of the best things that you can do in your life. That's the fact. Getting ready, sharpening or chamfering your edges, so to speak, to round off. I think it's a great notion, and there's nothing more satisfying than being ready for something happening, you having the items to take care of it, taking care of it, and it was all worth it. You know, a good example is I bought an e-tool, which is a shovel, a foldable shovel, right? And I never really thought I would need that thing. I just had it just in case. But there was a time where a car was stuck in the snow and it was iced over because the car had sat there overnight. Plow trucks had it plowed in, and it froze. Without that e-tool, I would have never got that car out of there. Buying that e-tool was a great idea. It's something I always have in my truck. So things like that. It is a great feeling to have something, be in a bad situation or a scenario where things aren't so great, and you have the keys to take care of the scenario, you know, or you're able to aid yourself in that scenario to get through it till, you know, the help arrives or the situation dissolves or whatever it is. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below the video. I love these little chats. I will catch you guys on the next one.